them to the Texas State Championship. The Cowboys have not had a winning record in 4 years, but they should this season. The Texans have already made out their Christmas list, and wish number one is a win over the hated Cowboys. For the first time in 6 long years, the NFL is back in Houston. Jermaine Lewis. 30, 35, 36-yard line. Last year at Fresno State, all David Carr did was throw for over 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, both of which led the country, and had a mere 7 interceptions. He is mobile, poised, a bright young man, mature beyond his years. He's got a gun for an arm, but what a moment for him.
Here comes Roy Williams. 31's right up around the line.
And Carr to throw on first down. And throw long. Bradford. There's a flag. Interference on Westbrook. Holy cow, what a start. What do you mean, just get the snap?
Well, after he got the snap, I told you he'd be comfortable.
Yeah, he was.
You know what's amazing about this play? There wasn't anybody even close to him. I mean, look at the blocking for this offensive line. He's got all day.
Now they've got to quiet this crowd down so that he can make calls. There you see the holding by Westbrook.
It's a 38-yard penalty. First down at the Dallas 21. Allen is the deep man in the eye. Bradford and Gaffney are the wideouts. And Carr to throw on second down for the end zone. A fade, incomplete contact, and no flag intended for Gaffney. Mario Edwards on the coverage.
I like what Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, is doing with David Carr. The hardest thing for a quarterback is to get into a rhythm. If you hand the ball off a few times, you're still going to be nervous when you drop back and throw. Right now, he's doing 2 things. He's getting his quarterback comfortable, and he's getting a chance to see how Dallas wants to line up and play defense.
This is, at best, a patchwork line. 3 starters are out on the injury list, including all-world left tackle Tony Baselli. Allen on the draw. Crosses the 20 to the Dallas 19. Kevin Hardy with the tackle.
Well, the Cowboy defense we talked about in the opening, they were pretty good against the run a year ago, and that's all they had. They really couldn't get to the quarterback. They only got 24 sacks. They had to go out and get some people that can line up and rush the passer. And by the way, on the way to the passer, you also have to check for the run.
3rd and 8. Allen remains as the single setback. Jermaine Lewis, 84, is in the slot as a 3rd receiver. Cowboys come with 4. Carr with time. Complete down to the 5. Diving for the end zone. Touchdown, Billy Miller. Are you kidding me? This is a moment they will never forget.
Coach celebrates, owner celebrates. Quarterback, I don't think he's come back down to the turf yet.
Chris Brown for the point after. And the Cowboys have to be stunned. And it's 7-0 Texans.
Nothing like your first, though, Mike.
I imagine.
Well, what the Texans did is they marked the ball, then the kicker picked the ball up and moved it down. Chris Brown, he moved it to the hash mark, and they're lining up like it's an onside kick.
I don't think they're going to onside kick. I don't think they want to give good field position. Dom Capers is a defensive coach. They just don't want to allow the Cowboys a decent return.
Chris Brown pooches it down the sideline. Ken-Yon Rambo hemmed in and taken down.
On that touchdown pass, you're going to see Jermaine Lewis up top. He's going to release and go. Billy Miller's going to switch, and that's Dexter Coakley. He gets caught right in the middle. He's going to come up on James Allen and try and make a play. He's caught in the middle between the back and the tight end. Made the wrong choice. Nice job by Billy Miller. Makes the move, and look at him reach out.
I'll tell you, the other thing, too, is the time that his kid has had to throw the ball. Kid, he's a man. Excuse me, David. But he has had some time to throw the ball.
Quincy Carter comes out at quarterback. Emmitt Smith, the deep man, and Emmitt gets the first carry. Comes outside across the 30.
Now, one of the things you have on a football team, and here's Emmitt, you know, obviously he's not going to break the record tonight.
They hope not.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things you have with an expansion team that really helps you is a pretty good defense. And the Texans have a pretty good defense. What I mean by that, they have some pretty good players. Now, they haven't played together that much, but they have excellent players on defense.
Emmitt only picks up a yard that time. The middle of the line, and that 3-4, Seth Payne and Jeff Posey on the tackle. Payne is the nose man.
They realize that Emmitt is not going to be the guy that's going to break a long way. So what they're doing offensively, Bruce Cossett, when I had a chance to talk to him earlier, Emmitt's basically going to be a first and second down back for them. Then he's going to bring in the other backs. He's going to bring in Michael Wiley and Troy Hambrick. Give them a chance to be bigger pass blockers, really, as well as good receivers.
3rd and 6. Carter on a little half roll, incomplete. Knocked away by Kenny Wright. What a start for the Texans. They score on their opening drive and then 3 and out on defense.
They couldn't script it any better.
Well, defensively, you had an idea that this football team was going to be pretty good because they brought a lot of veterans in. And you look at Dom Capers' record and what he's been able to do with defenses, and you expect him to be pretty solid.
Jermaine Lewis, a 2-time Pro Bowler, has led the NFL twice in punt return yards. Micah Noor to punt, a lot of pressure on him. Not a good kick, but it gets a beautiful bounce for Dallas. All the way to the 20-yard line, and they will down it there. A punt of 47 yards by Micah Noor. Carr starts from the 20 with Allen, his running back. Allen off the left side. He'll pick up 1, maybe 2. Let's get on to Susie for more on David Carr.
Mike, it's not easy to be a rookie and be team leader. And David told us, most importantly, he has to exude confidence. He knows his teammates look to the quarterback for the pulse of the team. The last thing he wants the guys to see is him shell-shocked. One of his college coaches once told him, if you fake it long enough, your body won't know the difference. He certainly faked it pretty good in that first series.
Susie, I'll tell you who's shell-shocked right now, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. The pressure is all on them. They can ill afford to come in here and lose to an expansion team.
I think they've got to bring pressure on him. You just can't let that kid sit back there and be comfortable.
We've already seen his arm. Deep sideline intended for Lewis, double covered, incomplete.
David Carr has some certain strength that I took a look at. First of all, it's character. He's a really fine young man, got a great work ethic. Matter of fact, told the team, listen, I don't want to do interviews, I just want to play. You see the strength of his arm. It's one of the banner ones. I personally think it's one of the strongest I've ever seen. And the release is extremely quick, which means that when he's decisive, it's going to be very difficult for defensive backs. He throws an accurate tight spiral, and he is confident, as Susie mentioned. He wants to be a leader. He feels like he can get it done, and he's proving it.
3rd and 7. Dallas showing a 4-man front, and they come with 4. Little screen out to Bradford. He takes it to the 28. That'll be shy of a first down. So Dallas doing the opposite of what everybody, and I'm sure the Texans, expected, sending 4 men on the rush.
Well, yeah, but I agree with Joseph. I think they're going to have to send more than that because this offensive line, you look at it, there's 2 rookies in there. We saw this happen Thursday night. Everybody talking about the Giants' interior line. They weren't that good. Well, these guys are doing very well, so you're going to have to send somebody else in.
Joey Galloway practiced all during preseason, although he didn't play in the games as a punt returner. He came to Dave Campo and asked to do it. He is one of the fastest guys in football, extremely dangerous. From the 22, reverses his field. Hemmed in and brought down at the 22. Lost 1 on the return after a punt of 49. Jerry Jones, the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, who has been very kind all week talking about the Texans, and his fellow owner Bob McNair. He has been a real gentleman about this, but a lot of pressure on him and his team to come in here and play the Texans on opening night for their franchise.
I wonder what's going on in his stomach.
Emmitt Smith, who gained 3 yards on the first series at tailback behind Quincy Carter. Draw play. Emmitt has that great first couple of steps, crosses the 30. Jay Foreman made the tackle.
I had a chance to talk to Bruce Coslet, the offensive coordinator, the new offensive coordinator of the Cowboys, and he said that he and Emmitt sat down and they discussed how this season was going to go. And I think it's really important. Bruce knows that Emmitt can still play. If he couldn't, he wouldn't be out there. But when you've got the size of the offensive line the Cowboys have, Emmitt's best running will be right up the middle between the tackles.
Emmitt again, horse collared this time. He'll lose a yard back to the 30. 3rd down and 2 for Dallas. Carter, short set, throws, nearly intercepted. Aaron Glenn had a shot at it.
I tell you, if I'm going to go someplace, I'm not going at the Pro Bowler. Aaron Glenn can still play this game. And I'll tell you, that time he was on Antonio Bryant, number 88, the rookie. Watch this. Aaron Glenn just gets inside. If that ball's on target, it's intercepted.
Micah Noor on to punt for the 2nd time. His first of beauty, 47 yards with a bounce, and Lewis waits outside his 25-yard line. Jermaine out of Baltimore. High, short kick. Lewis fair catch at the 33. That is Melody Carr, David's wife. They have been married since college, have a 2-year-old son, Austin. Not only are they here with him, but his mom, dad, and grandparents now live in Houston.
I think she's going to have to get another necklace. That star I don't think is going to quite fly too much after tonight.
Needs a little bull hanging from it, doesn't it?
That's right.
Texans take over at their own 33. 1st and 10. They're up 7-0 on the Cowboys. Carr, short set, goes out to Bradford. A lot of speed. Breaks the tackle, dives across the 40. This time it's the fullback, the rookie, Jared Baxter. Carr wears his wedding ring during the game. It's a very dangerous thing to do, to wear any kind of jewelry on your hands, because it can get pinched, but he has it taped to protect it.
The worst thing about wearing a ring like that is you're afraid it's going to get caught on a helmet. A guy comes in a helmet, you wind up ripping your finger off. I'm sure Melody appreciates it, but you still take a little bit of a chance when you do it.
1st down, Houston at the 44. Loose ball. Carr picks it up and hits the deck. Buried as Bryant Westbrook came off the corner. That's really the first mistake they've made all night long.
Well, it was James Allen as the running back there, and the question is, was he trying to fake it to him or hand it to him? Here it comes.
I think
David
it's a
Carr. It was going to be a bootleg, and Allen runs too close to him and then knocks the ball out of his hand.
Paul, I don't agree with that. It's always the quarterback's responsibility when you're faking. Don't get it out as far. See, he gets it out way too far, and Allen's elbow winds up knocking it right out. I put all the onus on the quarterback when it comes to play faking.
First time he's blamed the quarterback
ever in his life.
Good call, Joe. Draw play. Allen, room to run up the middle. Allen dives and gets to the 48-yard line.
I'll tell you what, they were talking about these guys are makeshift offensive line. They're not blocking very well. Well, I'm going to tell you what. They caved in the entire left-hand side of the Dallas Cowboy defense, and that hole was about as wide as anything we'll see tonight.
And that's where you have Greg Ellis at the end position and Leroy Glover at the tackle position.
Can't be more impressed with the offensive line than you are right now. They have done a sensational job.
Reminds you of that young Giant line we saw on Thursday.
Sure does. 3rd and 7.
They're going to come with a 3-man rush on this kid.
Now here comes the blitz. They pick it up well, though. Gaffney got a hand on it, couldn't hold it. Westbrook was there with him.
No, this was good defense with Westbrook. I mean, you don't keep raising your hand. That's a nice thing to do. Jabbar Gaffney putting his hand up, thinking, you know, you're going to get a call. But Westbrook played that very well. Look at here. Here's Westbrook. He's there. He's down there. That's incidental contact. Look at Gaffney puts his arm in.
But look at the throw. You teach guys to throw the football deep, lead the receiver towards the sideline and up the field.
Westbrook still trying to get his confidence back after tearing up his Achilles 2 years ago. But he was great with Detroit before that injury. Rambo is deep and a beautiful punt by Stanley. Rambo makes the fair catch with no one around him, and there is a flag down.
If this is just running into the kicker, it's only 5 yards. But if it's roughing, it's 15.
The preliminary indication is running into him. And that is certainly not roughing.
No, that's not roughing. He just runs into him.
Number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty only. Replay 4th down.
If they accept it.
And Marcus Steele pleading his case, saying I barely touched him. Punters can go down if somebody gets within about 3 yards of them.
What they want, excuse me for a second, Joe, they want to do is refuse a penalty. They already marked the penalty off, and Houston doesn't want it. They want them to have the ball inside the 20.
Now, Paul, you never flopped, did you?
Oh, man.
That's how he got his after card. He didn't get it acting, he got it punting.
I got so many bumps on my rump from faking it. It was unbelievable. If you got close.
Timeout.
6 minutes, 16 seconds to go first quarter. The Texans lead the Cowboys 7-0. Last year, Dallas scored only 2 touchdowns all season in the first quarter. They've been held scoreless so far tonight in the opening period.
And only managed to generate 38 total points.
Flags down, they whistle the play dead, and it's a motion penalty against Dallas.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 61, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the right guard, Kelvin Garman.
Mike, we've talked a lot about David Carr and certainly, you know, him being a rookie, but Quincy Carter is really not far from that. Only played in 8 games last year. He's 3-5 as a starter. He's in his 3rd offensive system, and I don't care how long you've played in this league, it's not easy to keep relearning. So he's got to move along slow too. Bruce Coslet's got to bring him along slowly.
He is 0 for 2 so far tonight. 0 for 3. Threw that one into traffic. Excellent coverage by that Texans 3-4 defense.
Bruce Coslet, the first season offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, you know, you have to remember, he really likes to run the football first. That's what he likes to do. Then he likes to set up the play-action passing. And what he's trying to do, I think, is just give Quincy an opportunity to make some plays. I really think that this would be a good opportunity to let Joey Galloway just take off and run, because he's matched up on Marcus Coleman, who he's probably got a speed edge on.
Well, Marcus Coleman's off 10 yards.
Carter scrambles and then goes down at the 19. Dallas does not have a first down. Foreman and Sharper, the 2 inside linebackers, covered them.
And one of the things when we were talking to Houston about it, Aaron Glenn was talking about Joey Galloway, he said the one thing about him is that you just do not let him get behind you. You've got to stay in front of him at all times. And these linebackers, they're dropping off at a pretty good rate. They're not allowing Dallas to even get 12 yards down the field.
Ken-Yon Rambo is in as a third wide receiver on 3rd and long. It is deafening in here. Carter throws in complete again, nearly intercepted. Marcus Coleman had a shot at it.
And Jamie Sharper again. I was just talking about how deep the linebackers are getting. That time Jamie Sharper is down about 14 yards. Quincy Carter tries to thread this in between two people, and this is not working. Watch this. He unloads. Look who comes across. That's a linebacker back there with him.
3 times in a row, 3 and out for the Dallas Cowboys. High snap, Micah Noor gets it out of there. Lewis forced into another fair catch, this at the 44. The Texans are not only leading in this ball game, they are winning the battle of field position, and the emotion that you know they're feeling coming into this ball game, that's got to start wearing out, but they're doing everything else as well.
Coaches do a lot of studying of film. They try and find tendencies. They try and figure out what the other team's doing. One of the disadvantages of both sides of the Dallas Cowboys, their offense and defense, is Houston has no history. They went back and they looked at Jacksonville film to get an idea of what Dom Capers wants to do. And it just isn't the same. So I would guess that this offense is going to settle down a little bit as the game goes once they get a better idea of what Houston is trying to do. Offensively, Chris Palmer, the coordinator for the Texans, just wants to stay aggressive.
Allen is the single setback, 3 wide receivers. Dallas comes with a blitz. Carr on the bootleg. Under pressure, and down he goes back at the 38. Michael Myers and Dat Wynn on the sack. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, going back to Jamie Sharper, he says just because they're an expansion team, they're not giving themselves an excuse to lose. Their standards are high. They know it's realistic. They're not going to all come together right away. But he remembers back to Baltimore. When they first came together, they were so young, and they had to take their licks to get respect. Here they have veterans. They know they can compete. They can't get caught up in looking at the big picture. They just have to concentrate on now.
Jonathan Wells just checked in for the first time, the rookie running back out of Ohio State, on 2nd and 16, and Wells will get the carry, and the Cowboys waiting for him as he tries to go outside.
Let
and
the clock
play
run
clock
down.
ran down.
Yep.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Remarkably, that is the first penalty taken against the Texans.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more of those, because the noise, the verbiage, the excitement of a first game is something that David Carr has to get used to. What is going to be his pacing to get in and out of the huddle for Dom Capers?
Now 3rd and 20, the last thing a rookie wants to see. 3-man rush. And out of bounds, intended for the rookie Jabbar Gaffney.
86 Gaffney, the intended receiver. 4th down, Houston, number 7.
So Carr has to trot to the sideline with 3:32 on the first quarter clock. Stanley will come on to punt again, and Ken-Yon Rambo will drop back near his 25-yard line. Rambo out of Ohio State in his 2nd year.
Is that a great name?
Isn't it?
Ken-Yon Rambo.
Another good kick by Stanley. Rambo, no fair catch this time. But he only got it back to the 27. Emmitt Smith and Robert Thomas, the backs for Dallas. The Cowboys yet to have a first down. Galloway reverse. Room to run on the outside, blinding speed. Cowboys have to go to their bag of tricks to get anything.
I got the biggest kick out of talking to Joey Galloway during warm-ups tonight. I was standing next to him, and I said, "How you feeling?" He says, "Really good." He said, "I don't care what anybody says. I'm still the fastest guy on this football field." Now, you look at him come around. Anybody that's trying to teach people how to hold a football, It's not like Joey does hanging out. But, boy, he can still run. He's excited for this season to finally get started.
The Cowboys' first down of the game. Draw play, Emmett. Well, the Texans have played solid defense. Marcus Coleman came up from the corner. Jay Foreman, number 56, who led the Bills in tackles a year ago, was in on that stop.
Dom Capers, one of the architects of the 3-4. There aren't a whole lot of teams in the National Football League that still run the 3-4 defense. Of course, Pittsburgh being one where he was. 7-9 record, you can see, with his expansion Carolina Panthers. A few years after that, a year after that, went on to the NFC Championship game.
And 7-9 is the best anybody's ever done. Emmett crosses the 45 to the 43, about a yard shy of a first down. Foreman and Sharper made the tackle. Sharper is out of Baltimore. He would have been regarded as a star had it not been for all the publicity, and deservedly so, given to Ray Lewis. But that is a fine young linebacker.
Yeah, he is. They've got some pretty good linebackers. But, you know, when you sit and talk to Dom Capers, you really understand that he knows everything that's going on. I mean, he is so calm and so cool. He has been there with an expansion team, and there's no bones about him. He's not predicting things that can't be done.
3rd and a long one. No way. The defense rises up. Sharper and Payne led the charge.
Boy, and you know there is absolutely no hesitation about punting this football.
And that is with a great offensive line that could not move that defense.
It's a big offensive line, but where the Texans have the advantage is in quickness and in speed. Jamie Sharper playing the strong side, as well as Seth Payne right over the nose.
Dallas gets its first down on the drive, but they have to punt it away. Micah Noor, who had been out of football for 4 years, was the manager of a sporting goods store, trying to knock it down inside the 20, and Lewis will come all the way up near the 20. A punt of only 26 yards. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, Dom Capers has been a master at finding the right mix to form some of the league's top defenses. New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Jacksonville, all either first or second in scoring defense, and each led the NFL in sacks. What do you think? Think he has the right scheme down?
You know, Susie, he's one of those guys where you know if Dom Capers is associated with the ball club, what he does is going to work. There are several guys like that in the NFL, and you just know it immediately. And
from a scheme standpoint, we've seen the success that the Steelers have had with the 3-4. They've never changed, so you have to figure it'll build here as well.
Jonathan Wells, the rookie, is in at tailback. And Wells will get the carry. That's a face mask, and it should be 15 yards. Michael Myers just spun him down.
Yeah, once you turn the head.
And he did.
And he turned his head. He turned his whole body. It's 15.
That looked like The Exorcist. He turned his head so far.
Personal foul.
Michael Myers, watch the hand come out. Right here. Watch him turn his whole body.
He never did let go.
No, I don't know what, you know, something. You wonder what you're thinking about.
I think he's just holding on to something.
Well, you know, you've got a team, Houston, first of all, they have not been able to run the ball. And I don't think they can against this defense because of the linebackers are so fast on this team. So when you get an opportunity, looking like an opportunity to tackle someone, I'm tackling anything I can grab. I wouldn't even worry about the run. I'd line some people up and blitz this kid.
1st and 10 from the 33. Carr wants to throw over the middle, knocked away from Billy Miller. And a flag is down. Darren Woodson.
They're going to give Darren Woodson the penalty for hitting him in the head.
You cannot hit a defenseless receiver, and Dave Campo is livid. Billy Miller was stretched out to make the catch. Oh.
I'm not certain he gets him.
Oh yeah, he did with a forearm right in the top of the head.
Yep.
This is an excellent call by the officials. Watch his right arm. Bam.
Yep.
You cannot do that.
personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 28. Helmet to helmet after the incomplete pass. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Well, that's the worst part about when he said helmet to helmet. It isn't helmet to helmet. It's elbow to helmet.
But the other rule, besides the helmet-to-helmet contact, is you cannot hit a defenseless receiver.
Well, wait a minute now. He wasn't defenseless. He had his hands on the ball. He was catching the ball when Woodson hit him. But what he does, he hits him with a forearm. Watch. He's got the ball there. So he's not defenseless, but he whacks him in the top of the head.
Looks pretty defenseless to me.
Here it comes. I mean, Miller's got a catch in his hands, and Woodson just nails him.
2 big penalties back-to-back, have it out at the 48. Dallas jumped and appeared to induce the Texans to jump. John Nix, number 60, got into the neutral zone. Let's see if he got back or not.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 69, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the rookie Chester Pitts, who is in for the injured Tony Baselli. They think Pitts has a great future as a guard, but he's got to play left tackle right now because Baselli, there's the all-world tackle, is still not ready to go.
They said he's the best offensive lineman they have out there with one arm.
Well, he's also the highest paid member of their scout team. I happen to think he's probably paid more than every scout team in the league.
Baxter and Wells, the running backs behind Carr. Wells on the draw. Good blocking up front to the Dallas 45. And Woodson comes up and gets right in his face. What a first quarter. Cowboys show blitz. This one's tipped as they tried to get the quick pass outside to Jabbar Gaffney.
We forget that this is the first game. We've seen a lot of football. We did a game on Thursday, but you forget that these teams have to try and feel each other out a little bit. Houston has to try and figure out what Dallas is doing. I thought Dallas was very conservative in the first half defensively. Didn't bring a lot of blitzes. I think David Carr is going to start to see a lot more pressure now.
Well, just rushing 4 didn't work. 3rd and 3. Bunch 3 wide receivers to the near side. Carr under pressure. They've got him low, and down he goes. The sack goes to Leroy Glover, who had 50 in his last 5 years. Somehow, the New Orleans Saints let him go. He's one of the best pass rushing tackles ever.
97, Leroy Glover. Just take a look at the move he makes and gets to the feet of David Carr. That's why they brought him in here. One reason. Get to the quarterback.
Very bright guy. And a tremendous pass rusher. Fair catch made at the 11-yard line, a 38-yard punt. Once again, Dallas will have to start deep in its own territory.
Cowboys offense, 3 3-and-outs, 13 plays, 47 yards, 0 yards passing. I think they're going to have to move Quincy Carter a little bit. The 3-4 is giving him a bit of a problem to try and figure out who to get the ball to.
He's off to a tough start. Carter, short set, throws, complete to Galloway, but not for much. And Marcus Coleman, who's going to close on him as fast as he can while trying to give him a decent enough cushion to respect that speed.
The only thing about that deal there is when they throw that little hitch out there to Galloway, they do that a couple times and then goodbye. Because Coleman can't run with him. There isn't anybody on this field that can run with him.
He is a burner. They lost Rocket Ismail in preseason to a neck injury. Emmett trying to get outside. No dice. Can't make it to the 20. Coleman comes up from the corner. A very physical player at 6'2", 210.
We talked to Antonio Bryan. He's a rookie. About Joe asked him yesterday, do you like to block? You got blocking skills. Watch number 88. Bam! That's blocking skills, Joseph.
Yeah, he does. I like him. I was impressed. And the Cowboys are very impressed with this young rookie. Second-round pick.
He was the Blitnikoff Award winner as the best receiver in the country 2 years ago as a sophomore. His numbers dropped off as a junior. You can't find anybody with an unkind word to say in Houston about Bob McNair. He is a man who is invariably referred to as someone with tremendous moral and ethical standards, and now he is an icon in this city for spending all that money to bring the NFL back to Houston. 1st and 10, Dallas after the catch by Antonio Bryant. Carter under pressure, down he goes. The sack for Kylie Wong.
Paul, you talked about the Dallas Cowboys bringing over Kevin Hardy to play the outside linebacker position. Kylie Wong was one of those free agents that Houston signed to be able to be an outside rusher. You watch him come from the outside. Jumps right inside, takes the block on of Emmitt Smith and just sheds him and winds up making the sack. Dom Capers feels like Kylie Wong can be one of those special outside pass rushers from the strong side.
2nd and 18. Carter short set, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Aaron Glenn. A horrible throw from Quincy Carter.
Oh, I'll tell you what, though. No. Aaron Glenn, you talk about playing the ball and then watch him block out Antonio Bryant. He can't get to the ball. Aaron Glenn can. I said there was one time before in the first quarter when Aaron Glenn would have intercepted it. Watch him get inside. He's already inside of him, and the throw is bad, Michael.
No, you know
yeah,
something.
Bad.
It was, but it's Antonio Bryant. As he starts to make the break in, instead of keeping on running, he sort of throws his rear end up at Glenn and doesn't really make a play on the ball. You've got to have your receivers help you if you're a quarterback, especially when you throw slants.
Aaron Glenn played at Texas A&M. He said his parents could see him play maybe once a year. Now it's like being back in college. They can see him play all the time. Jermaine Lewis on a flanker reverse to the 21. Dexter Coakley makes the stop. The Dallas Cowboys are making all the mistakes you would expect the expansion Texans to make so far.
Again, there's youth over there. Look who wound up having the pass picked off in front of him, a rookie. Quincy Carter threw the interception. Just really 8-game quarterback, really. And that defense, as we talked about, is not an easy defense to attack.
2nd and 5, Allen back in as the running back. Cowboys show blitz. They come with it. Carr with time. Incomplete. That was nearly picked off in the end zone. Excellent coverage, Mario Edwards.
That's just lucky. Sometimes it's better off to be lucky. David Carr got away with one here.
I think Corey Bradford had something to do with it also. He came back. Corey Bradford, look at him. He strips it. He becomes a defensive back and knocks the ball away.
That's the difference in a rookie and a veteran receiver. One can help you out. The other doesn't quite know how to do it yet.
Now 3rd and 5 for the Texans. Carr under pressure. Now steps up, tries to run, gets it back to the 24 before he's pinned to the ground. Good pressure by Glover and Ellis.
Here they come again. Look at Ellis. They know they got him in the pocket. David Carr. Watch this. They just collapse on him. Ellis will come from the top side, and then inside on the ground was Leroy Glover, and he got back up and helped out on the play.
This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt by Kris Brown, who until last year was a tremendously accurate kicker. He made 50 of 59. Last year he missed 14, the most of any place kicker in the National Football League. This is from 42. No wind at Heinz Field. We're at Reliant Stadium, and he knocks it through. These fans, brokenhearted in '96 when the Oilers left, they've already fallen in love with the Texans. Loose ball. Dallas got it back. Recovered by Michael Wiley after Rambo fumbled it. Let's get down to Susie.
Well, Mike, with Tony Bazzelli, and I guess what everyone wants to know, first of all, is what is your timetable?
You know, I really don't have one. We've seen a lot of good progress the last couple of weeks, and I'm hoping to get out there as soon as possible. You know, it's hard enough watching a football game, but the first one ever, it's difficult. So, you know, hopefully in the coming weeks.
The line loses 2 starters and a top backup. Assess their play tonight.
You know, they're doing a good job. They're fighting. You know, we got that good drive to be in the game, and we got to be a little more consistent. But you know what? It's a good defense out there, and we're doing a good job. And I think if we can keep it up, we're going to make some plays in the second half.
I've seen you spend quite a bit of time with David Carr on the sideline. What kind of advice have you been giving him?
Well, you know, just tell him to keep on going. Don't worry about it. Take charge out there. And, you know, he's the quarterback. He's the leader of the offense. And he's a great player. And he just needs to keep on doing what he's doing.
In Jacksonville, you didn't only protect Mark Brunell, you were best friends. How would you assess your relationship with David?
Well, we're good friends, but obviously we haven't known each other as long as Mark and I did. But David's a great guy. He's a lot more mature than his age, and he's coming in with a lot of poise. Everyone knows he has the athletic ability to be a great quarterback, and he just keeps on growing and growing, and he's going to be a good one.
We'll look forward to seeing you back.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Antonio Bryant made that last catch. The numbers on Carr started hot, 1 out of 2 for a touchdown. Cooled off a little bit since then, and Carter with a good throw that time to get Dallas out to its own 46. Quincy back to throw again. Galloway, first down inside the Texans' 40-yard line.
Well, these 2 throws of Quincy Carter, first coming off of play action, and that's kind of freezing the linebackers.
What happens is you see the play action up inside. The safety goes in the middle. It allows you the opportunity to get the ball outside with everybody sort of bunched up. The corners are one-on-one. And really throwing the ball down the field, I think, is a stronger suit for Quincy Carter than the shorter routes.
First 11 plays, the Cowboys gained only 52 yards. The last 2 have gone for 37. Emmett bounces off 1 tackler, but the Texans get a lot of help. Jerry DeLoche in on the tackle. Big 315-pounder. I'm going to whistle this play dead. Looked like motion from Solomon Page, the right tackle.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, still sitting down.
We know how loud it is up here. It's got to be deafening down there.
Well, that offensive line averages close to 350 pounds. So when you run play action, it slows down the linebackers a little bit. And when you have as much girth in front of you as Quincy does, it's a pretty long trip to get around him to get to the quarterback.
Come with a blitz, and they've got Carter again back at midfield. And a flag is also down. Gary Walker applying the pressure. Kylie Wong came from the outside. Sharper came up the middle. Now check the penalty.
Holding. Dallas. They'll refuse this,
Illegal
baby.
use of the hands, hands to the face. 77, offense. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
First
What
you
an
move
impressive
early.
performance by this defense.
Well, first you move early, and then now you get a hands to the face call on Solomon, number 77. That's an excellent call. They refuse the penalty. It's 3rd down and forever.
Emmett has had no luck tonight. Neither have his teammates. And it's 3rd and 22. Three-man rush. Picked off and dropped. Right in the hands of Jay Foreman. He couldn't hold it.
The speed at the linebacker position is something that Dom Capers has had on all his football teams. Now, Vic Fangio is the coordinator. This is just a lousy pass. That thing's got wings on it from the time it left. And really, watch the depth that Foreman gets. His dad, Chuck's got to be tickled with the fact that even though he's a linebacker, he should be able to catch the ball.
If it got by him, Aaron Glenn was in position to get it. Lewis signals fair catch, makes it at the 15. 10-0 Texans in front of a sellout crowd. here at Reliance Stadium, including George Foreman. I don't think he has the grill with him tonight. There are too many good restaurants in here.
Maybe get your grill on.
Allen, the deep man in the eye. And Allen will get the carry. Another good block at the corner. And Allen takes it to the 20, a gain of 4. Carr quick out to Lewis. Flanker screen. Little hesitation. And Lewis, the smallest guy on the field, takes it up to the 28-yard line. They don't want to use him up as a wide receiver because he is such a brilliant special team player.
I always like to look at a quarterback's eyes to see what he is seeing. Where is he looking down the field? There's David's. You see him look. He's looking around, checking out the defense. Now he's in a shotgun, even though he's calling the signals. Now he focuses back on the ball, makes the catch, and looks where he wants to throw the ball. People come up all the time and say, oh, the quarterback's looking where he's going to throw. Yes. Yes, he is. And he should.
How else is he going to get it there?
Not stare at him, but look that way.
1st and 10. James Allen, who gained over 1,000 yards for the Bears 2 years ago. He was undrafted out of Oklahoma and one of only 3 undrafted running backs that's ever rushed for over 1,000 yards.
One of the things you look at as a quarterback is what's the defense doing? Here are the corners. They're up. Here are the safeties. Therefore, if he blocks him, I get a chance to run and run with the football. That's exactly what you're seeing. Dallas wants to go cover 2. Then what they do is they hit the edges. Good job by the young tackles.
Dallas shows blitz. They give it to the fullback, the rookie Jared Baxter, and there's nothing there as Dat Wynn leads the charge. Let's go to Susie.
Mike, to elaborate on what you were saying with James Allen, yes, he ran for over 1,000 yards for the Bears, but then along came the A-train. He believes he has deceptive power. He prefers to get moving, get the offense spread out. It's not what they were looking for in Chicago. But he says it's so important that he's here because as a 6th-year player, he's played with a lot of young QBs, and he prides himself in knowing protections. Of course, now he's got another rookie breathing down his neck.
That's the way of life in the NFL. Allen on a little toss. And this time, the Cowboys waiting for it. Kevin Hardy, who was an All-Pro in Jacksonville, makes the stop behind the line.
Well, if you're going to run that play, you don't run it against an All-Pro that has seen that thing a dozen times. And when they try to toss this ball out to Allen, Kevin Hardy was just standing there waiting. He didn't take any fake. He knew I got the outside on my side and made the play.
Stanley to punt to Rambo, and very rapidly we're approaching the 4.5-minute mark here in the first half. More returnable kick this time. Rambo runs up on it, and as soon as he gets it, he's buried by the Texan special teams. Loses a yard after a 32-yard kick. Jeff Posey, one of the starting linebackers, down to make the stop. Dallas starts at its own 32, down 10-0. Carter under pressure again. Gets away this time. A great scrambler. Throws underneath for minimal yardage to Galloway. Dom Capers wearing the shirt with the flag and 9/11. With so many memories for so many of us as that date approaches.
5-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd down 5.
Makes you proud to have played in the National Football League and be a part of it because we were the ones that sort of got everybody back on track and moving forward.
And the NFL did a wonderful job with that. Oh. Troy Hambrick is in on 2nd and 5. Carter to throw again. And dropped right through the hands of Antonio Bryant.
I remember them talking about Antonio Bryant when he catches the ball. He just catches it, turns real quick.
Turns the triangle upfield.
Yeah, that's what
the key there is what?
You got to keep your eye on the ball and catch the ball first.
That's, I think,
then you turn to go up the field. Well, that time, the ball went through and hit him in the head. But kept his eye on it.
Remember, he's filling in for the Rocket, Ishmael, who's gone. So they're going to have to live with him, and he's going to have to get better.
3rd and 5. Wiley is in as the 3rd down back. Blitz coming. Carter unloads, incomplete to Wiley. The pressure caused Carter to throw it early and couldn't hit it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there aren't many guys. That was Kris Carter in there. There aren't many guys that can throw the ball sidearm underneath a player and throw it accurately.
Mike Knorr getting a workout here in the first half. They'll kick to Jermaine Lewis, who hasn't had many opportunities to run one back. Two-time Pro Bowler as a special teamer. Knorr gets off a beauty. Lewis, no fair catch this time from the 18. And takes it back just across the 25, an 8-yard return after a 44-yard punt. Tony Dixon on the tackle.
What an excellent job. Take a look at these four guys right here. Watch the way they're going to come. You get the twist coming around. Quincy Carter has absolutely nowhere to go. This is the zone blitz. It makes it very difficult to be able to, first of all, figure out who the offensive line or the back should block. But more importantly, in Quincy Carter's case, you just really don't know who's going to be hot. He did the best thing there. Got rid of it.
Wouldn't you like to be in the locker room in Dallas? This Dallas locker room at halftime?
Not me.
Well, we've seen a lot of the hard knocks. I have a feeling they don't want to film what's going to go on in there.
Like to be in the Texans locker room, though.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Wells, the running back, as he and James Allen have been able to alternate. Ouch. Edwards came up and just drilled Jabbar Gaffney.
Well, they got tired of this young man throwing that ball out there, you know, just floating it out. That time Edwards came in, and, I mean, it's a perfect tackle. He just dipped and hit. What's the old dip and hit trick? Dip and hit.
Clock running. 2nd and 13. Texans would love to get a first down, and now we've got movement. And that won't help the cause.
You know, that's one of those deals that I've listened to Joe talk about for 4 years. Is that you get him at the line of scrimmage, and they sit there for so long, and once a lineman gets in a position, you've got to get him out of there. I mean, these guys are 300 pounds.
There's no foul on the play. Timeout, Houston before the snap. That's the team's first charge timeout. 30-second timeout.
Let's check in with Susie while we have the chance. Suze?
Well, Mike, one of the intangibles of this game is that all the pressure is on the Dallas Cowboys. Darren Woods had pointed out, and everybody else agreed. This is a must-win game for Dallas. They want to get off to a good start this season. For the Texans, it's about a celebration and getting off on a good foot. But for the Cowboys, if the score remains the same, the pressure will build and build and build. And this is what Dom Capers said he wanted. A close game. I don't think he ever dreamed to be up, but all the pressure is on the Cowboys.
Susie, I think you're right. I don't think Dom ever believed he'd be up 10-0 at this point, but he is, and he's got to be enjoying every lick of it.
See, I agree with both of you, but just because this is an expansion team, we should not assume it's not a good football team. They were very methodical in the way they put this team together, and we've seen the strength, their defense. We've seen what they've done with their special teams, and they're being very smart and conservative to a degree on offense. So they've really got a good formula and a game plan.
And they're doing it without arguably two of their best players. They're starting tackles as well as a starting guard. That's the tailback, Jonathan Wells.
But what happened in the draft was very interesting. Chester Pitts, number 69, who was starting at the left tackle, was a guard. He had never played the tackle position. And Fred Weary, number 61, was their 3rd-round pick. Pitts was their 2nd-round pick. And the reason that they took these guys, Michael, is because they were the best players on the board. Not for need. They took them because they were better players than anyone else that was up there. And look what happens. They lose 2 tackles, and these guys fit in very well.
Charlie Casserly has done a fine job putting this team together. The irony of it is that when you get Tony Baselli and Ryan Young in the expansion draft, and you're set at tackle for a long time, and then both of them get hurt, and you can't go into the season with either one of these guys playing.
Yeah, that long time lasted almost 2 weeks.
Yes, it did.
Instead of years.
But if Baselli can come back, He's about as dominant a player that's ever played in this game, and Ryan Young is a load on the other side.
They just said it with one arm, and Paul brought it up earlier. With one arm, he's just dominated the scout team. Everybody was excited to see him out there. The problem is, you don't want to put him out on the field with one arm. You want to let him heal totally and then bring him out to play. My guess is he'll probably wind up playing after the bye, which ought to put his return, I think, against Buffalo around the 6th of October.
Buffalo's got to be very happy to hear that.
He has had 3 shoulder surgeries since November. And you're right, he doesn't have the strength back in that shoulder yet, and they are just scared to death, I think rightfully so, of bringing him back too early and getting him hurt again.
And as long as these young guys play as well as they're playing, I mean, they're not asking them to do miracles, but as long as they just stay in there and fight like they're doing, that gives him more time to heal.
Dallas used that last time out to stop the clock with 2:17. Carr wants the screen. His receiver had been knocked down. That was James Allen, and there was nobody there.
Can you make an obvious assumption? You know, when you're a back and you're in the screen like Allen is there, I know you get knocked down. You can't afford to. I mean, you've got to make sure you can clear and get out, because you're the only guy he's throwing the ball to.
I think he tripped coming out.
You're not allowed to do that.
I know.
The ever-dangerous Joey Galloway waits back at the 31. Dallas so far averaging less than a yard on a punt return. Beautiful punt this time. Galloway back to the 28. There is a marker down. And Galloway hit out of bounds.
Man, that is a flag.
There's another flag. Jason Simmons, he was in the grasp of another tackler and just blasted it. And I think the personal foul is probably going to take precedence here. Watch Simmons, 30. Clearly out of bounds.
That's the thing where you teach them where the green ends, you can hit people. Where there's no more green, that's not a good idea.
Well, Joey Galloway didn't think it was a good idea. He's over there counting teeth.
What was that? Who was that hit me? Joey.
It's going to take a while to realize it's Sunday night, and he's also come up with a limp.
2 number-1 picks the Dallas Cowboys gave up for Joey Galloway. First 4 seasons, 16 starts, 65-9. The last 3 years.
Ineligible receiver, number 56 on the kicking team downfield. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, late hit out of bounds by the kicking team during the return. That penalty on 23 is accepted. The receiving team will keep the ball 15 yards, first down.
Penalty should not be called on Kevin Williams. He was making the tackle. He made contact inbounds, and then Simmons came in and got the extra shot. Galloway's going to the locker room, and this penalty will give Dallas excellent field position and a chance to do something in the last 2:01 and get on the board. Dom Capers has not seen his young team make very many mistakes, but this is a big one.
I'd have to think in Dom Capers' shoes right now, with the veterans that he has on defense, and as well as that defense has played going into the half, he has to feel pretty good that those guys are on the field for him.
But I think he'd rather have his offense on.
Going in.
Spotted at the 48. Carter, a little screen out to Hambrick, and Hambrick will only get 3 yards out of it. The 2-minute warning officially comes at 1:54. Texans still pitching a shutout. 2nd and 7 for Dallas and Quincy Carter. Blitz coming. Carter throws and caught at the 33. Bryant on a nice comeback pattern. Aaron Glenn was all over him but couldn't prevent it.
What a nice job by Michael Wiley, number 32, coming over to pick the blitzer up so that he could get it off.
Cowboys in the hurry-up. Carter deep down the middle, overthrown. That could have been intercepted, and there's a penalty. Matt Stevens with a hit on what they are going to term a defenseless receiver, the same kind of penalty that was called against Dallas earlier in the game.
This is on Rambo, and this is Matt Stevens, and what he does is, I mean, this is such a good call when it's wide open. Watch him unload. Watch Matt Stevens unload on the left of your screen. He's just waiting and then unloads on the receiver. Here it comes. At the bottom of the screen, watch this. He unloads, he's not looking at the ball, and wham!
And it's a stupid penalty because he knows it's an incomplete pass. There's no need for it.
I mean, Matt Stevens isn't even looking at the football. He has no football awareness as to where it is. All he is honed in on the receiver, and he's going to level him. First mistake that the Texans have made on defense. Really
Major mistake.
And that is a biggie, because the pass was well overthrown.
I mean, there was no chance for anything, and not to even look at the ball, just to unload on the guy.
Emmett on the sidelines, because you have to figure the Cowboys are going to be throwing the football, not trying to pound it.
First down with a 1:27 left. Instead, they toss it to Hambrick, and Hambrick gets inside the 15-yard line.
That is not pounding it. Don't look at me. It's a pitch out outside.
Hey, you're entitled to a bad guess. I really like Hambrick.
He's going to be a fine player. Blitz coming, and Carter does the wise thing. He just gets rid of it.
Yeah.
Kenny Wright came off the corner and drilled Carter.
That's the old throw and duck play. When you see the guy coming and nobody is even slowing him down, you throw that baby and duck.
This is the situation for the Dallas Cowboys on offense. You've got an inexperienced quarterback. Joey Galloway, your most experienced receiver, has gone into the locker room with cramps. You've got to find somebody on this offense that can come up and make a play for you. Tony McGee is their tight end. James Whalen, who really was from Kentucky, has probably been the best guy as far as receiving tight end goes. But there really is nowhere for Dave Campo's offense to look for a play.
Dallas has used its second timeout. Last year, Dallas had the 31st and last ranked passing offense in the league, and they're starting out about the same way tonight. 3rd and 6. Can the defense hold again? Blitz coming. Carter in trouble, throws incomplete. The pressure by that Texans defense has been unrelenting.
Well, that's Kenny Wright again, and I'm going to tell you what, Quincy Carter on this play here, I think it's a heads-up play, except for where he threw the ball. He had to get rid of the ball because Kenny Wright's got him. That means it may be out of field goal range, but he throws the ball back inside instead of throwing the ball outside.
And now the rookie Billy Cundiff from Drake, the new place kicker, will come on to try his first NFL field goal. And Cundiff is true from 33 yards, and for the first time tonight, the Cowboys get on the board with only 56 seconds to go in the half. Check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, we know that Quincy Carter is under the gun, but I have to tell you, I have never heard it so loud down here on the field. Give some credit to the 12th man here in Reliant Stadium. I can't imagine that Quincy Carter can hear anything out there or any of his teammates hear any of the calls. This is unbelievable.
This is a magnificent place, and this crowd is going nuts. It's louder tonight than it will be on other times because with the remnants of Tropical Storm Faye and some other weather systems down here, they have kept the retractable roof closed, so the sound is going to rattle around a little bit more.
You know why there's a roof? You want to know why? You know why?
No, I'm looking for the answer, but I just can't see it come up.
I got it, pal.
Oh, what is it, Carnett?
Because of the rodeo. I'm telling you, this would have been an open-air stadium except for the rodeo. There is so much money made. 3 weeks of the rodeo is here with concerts and all that stuff, and that's the only reason that roof is on the stadium. It's not like it's closed tonight because it rained, but there would not be a roof if it weren't for the rodeo in here.
I think it's
Trust me.
I think it's really. Thank you. That's
right.
I think it's really neat that we're in a dome and we've got a grass field.
It is.
I mean, when you walk around on that surface, it looks like turf.
Jermaine Lewis and Kevin Williams are deep. Lewis from the 10 on a short kickoff. Cuts it outside, found a seam, and takes it all the way out to the 35. David Carr has shown a lot of poise and an awful lot of talent. He's 5 out of 13. Only 38 yards, but he has the 1 touchdown. Since 1980, these are the quarterbacks who threw a first-quarter touchdown pass in their NFL debut. And it's been 3 years. Jake Delhomme did it for the Saints. Todd Marinovich on that list. Mark Rippon with the Redskins, and Jim Kelly all the way back in 1986 with the Buffalo Bills.
I think David Carr has played very much within himself. I think you got to give Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, credit. The plays that he has called for him, the one thing he doesn't want this kid to do is get hit too much. I thought he's emphasized protection, which has been very important.
49 seconds left to go in the half. Screen. Allen. Nice cut. Allen up to the 46, very close to a first down. The Texans have 1 timeout left. Pepe Zeller chased him down from behind.
David Carr looked at the bench. You want me to take a timeout or what?
Well, it's a good thing to do. See what the coach is looking for.
Straight back, pretty good protection. Now he's got to try to scramble and cut down from behind. Nice tackle by Greg Ellis.
Now take your timeout. One of the things that affects David Carr, now Chris Palmer is the offensive coordinator. He is upstairs in the booth. He is not down on the field. So when you see David come off the field and go right to the phone, he's going to the man in the middle with the glasses, Chris Palmer. Now Chris has chosen not to have a quarterback coach on this staff. Normally, I would not agree with that. And I think in time it would serve well to have one for someone to talk to.
But he's different, isn't he?
He is different. The other thing is he wants to be able to mold this young man and teach him. And when you look at the history, the people he's worked with, okay, Mark Brunell, Rob Johnson, and the different court, Drew Bledsoe.
Couch.
Tim Couch, who had in Cleveland. Matter of fact, that's a lot of the reason why David Carr has started here, because he felt like the one mistake he made with Tim Couch was not getting him involved right away and letting him go for it.
2nd and 10 with 18 seconds to go. No timeouts left for the Texans. So if they throw the ball in the middle of the field, it's problematic whether they would have a chance to get up and spike it. Usually takes 13 or 14 seconds to go downfield and do that. Carr, deep. Wide open as Lewis, he dropped it. Holy cow. Jermaine Lewis couldn't have been any more wide open. And look at Leroy Glover. Glover shaking his head looking at Carr.
He threw this thing.
It's a bullet.
Like you can't believe. Anybody wants to know about David Carr's arm, all you need to do is take a look at the protection. Steps up, steps up. Watch this rocket ship go out. Look at that spiral. Perfectly thrown. It's moving so fast. Jermaine Lewis can't even get his hands onto it.
Even so, how can you drop that ball?
Flag.
Oh, man. That would have been as easy a touchdown pass as he's ever had.
Offense, 12 on the field in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, stays first down.
11 seconds to go in the half. Dom Capers had a chance to have his team up 17-3.
I was just about to say 6. He drops the ball. I mean, it was unbelievable. Aaron Glenn shaking his head. Look at this baby. It's on a rope. I mean, it can't be thrown any better than that. Bang.
He makes, the thing is, he makes such a great move to get himself in position to make the play. He'll make a lot more great catches for David Carr, I promise you.
He left Tony Dixon just wondering where he'd gone. Allen on the draw. And he'll get to the 48. So the Texans choose the safe way to end the half, and what a half it has been for this brand new franchise and these fans. David Carr threw a ball on a line about 55 yards, and Lewis, who was wide open, dropped it. The Texans will kick off to start the second half. Rambo on the return, and he is pasted inside the 20. Let's go to Susie. She talked with Dom Capers.
Dom, how impressed are you with David Carr?
Well, David, we know that David is special, and we had a couple things offensively, penalties there at the end. We just have to make sure we keep our poise. This game is going kind of like we thought it would. It's a field position game. It's a game where we were able to get a takeaway down in there and turn it into a field goal, and we protected the ball well on offense. So I think we just have to keep going. We've got 30 minutes, and it's going to be an intense football game. And one of those games that you're going to have to win probably on the last series of the game.
Thanks, Coach.
The Dallas offense starts from its own 21. Dave Campo said they had to run the ball. Here goes Emmett. Best run of the night up to the 30. Picks up 9.5.
Mike, having been around offensive lines that can dominate, and that's exactly what Dallas can do. What happened in the first half is their pride was hurt. And what Dave Campo did in the second half is he came up and he challenged their pride to say, are you going to let those guys up front, as big as you are, control the line of scrimmage like they did in the first half?
Got some guys on that line that are Pro Bowlers. Larry Allen, one of the best that ever played, and they just haven't been able to move the Texans. And once again, Seth Payne is right there in the middle of that line.
What's happening with the defensive line is to this offensive line, they're beating him to the hole. This offensive line, they're doing an awful lot of leaning, standing up, and this defensive line, watch the guys in the white shirts. Look at how fast they're off the ball. Now that's Seth Payne, 91. He was in 2 yards in the backfield and came back and made the play.
Playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
303-pounder that they got in the expansion draft from Jacksonville. The other tackle is Gary Walker. They got him from Jacksonville as well. Carter, short set, goes out to Galloway. Galloway taken out at the 40 by Aaron Glenn.
That's the one thing that Dallas has to do now. All right, they got out of that half only down by 7. Just be patient. Whatever they're going to give you on defense, you've seen it all in the first half. Now just take advantage of the little things. Don't get greedy.
But the longer they go without scoring, the more pressure builds on Dallas. This is the veteran team.
Jerry Jones is no longer in his box.
On the sideline. Emmett with a blitz coming. Nowhere to go. They just sent the house that time. And Jeff Posey led the charge. Posey, the right outside linebacker. And this defense reminiscent of the one Dom Capers put together in Carolina with those fast linebackers.
We talked about San Francisco's defense. They're too fast. I think when you have a 3-4 defense, the way to attack it is straight ahead, especially when you have an offensive line as big as the Cowboys. Dom Capers' defenses can flow in pursuit of the ball. They'll get all 11 guys there as quick as they can.
3rd and a yard. They have to just cross the 41. Play action, Carter, nice fake. Now he's under pressure, steps up and throws. First down at the 29. Threw a strike that time to Galloway.
Whoop. Now there's a rifle. That's a shot.
We were ranting and raving about the job that David Carr did at the end of the half. Quincy Carter, step up, step up, step up. You see right there, look at the time that he has to look down the field where he wants to go with the football. Nice job by the O-line coming back to help out. You've got the man with some speed going one-on-one.
First down, Dallas at the Houston 29-yard line. Hambrick is the running back, and he'll get the carry. Hambrick lowers his shoulder and gets to the 25. Emmett and Hambrick splitting time again at the running back spot. Hambrick had over 500 yards a year ago. Emmett over 1,000
The big thing to look at is really yards per carry, but percentage of carries tackled for loss. And some of that has to do, I think, with the offensive line, not just the back.
Hambrick, little stutter step. He'll only get a yard this time. It'll bring up a 3rd and 5. Jerry Jones on the sideline trying to rally the troops.
What's interesting about the 3-4 defense is as long as you can get a linebacker up the field in the face of a running back, you can channel him back into pursuit. Either the off linebacker or the one to that side is filling that hole.
Jerry Jones only pays for a booth for half the game.
Big play here, 3rd and 5. Emmett is back in. He is the only one in the backfield with Carter. Blitz coming. Emmett with a great block. Carter gets outside. Throws back across the middle, and Aaron Glenn nearly picked it off again. Quincy Carter has hit Aaron Glenn about 4 times tonight.
I'm going to tell you something. You talk about a waste of some great blocking. I mean, Emmitt Smith, he gets an outstanding block. They get blocked inside. He helps them get outside. And then to throw the ball back into the middle of the field where all the white shirts are is ridiculous.
Again, Paul, I caution the fact that you're talking about a guy who's still learning how to play the position. Yeah, it was a mistake, and he got away with it. And he better not make too many more of those or he'll have to start making tackles.
Billy Cundiff from 42 yards. He yanked it left. Texans take over after the missed field goal. Just inside their own 32-yard line. Haven't had anything going on offense in a while. Allen will get a couple. 2-time Pro Bowler. Carr with time. Rifles one down to the Dallas 45 for a first down. A perfect strike to Corey Bradford.
That was all the offensive line. What happened there is David Carr had a chance to get back and get set. Look at him look down the field. He sees the safety. Now he comes over and identifies where he wants to go. Just a quick little look to the outside opens up the hole and gives Corey Bradford a chance to make the play.
Got to take your hat off to Steve McKinney. He's one of only 2 veterans in there. 5 years. Played for the Colts at guard. Has made the transition to center. He played at Texas A&M. Loves being back here. They're playing without 3 starters tonight. Blitz coming. Carr runs away from it. Can't find anybody and gets out of bounds.
No, one of the things about this Houston team, they have 17 guys on this team, which I think is kind of neat, that played high school football here. That's incredible.
And they do play some high school football.
Oh, do they? What did the coach say? He said, I looked at the team. He said, well, 4 years from now, I'll take this team right here and I'll use them on.
That's some high school players around here. He just want to move right in now.
2nd and 12. Avion Black is in as a wide receiver, the former Bill. Draw play. Allen sidesteps a couple of tacklers, then tries to get outside. That's a heck of a run. And James Allen is a guy who is not going to break an 80-yarder for you. He is not going to run over a defensive tackle, but he is such a solid back. And he really doesn't get a lot of credit.
Got some pretty good speed, though. Good job outside, bouncing outside. Almost gets the corner turn on Mario Edwards. Woodson just barely gets a hand on him, misses him. You see Williams try and come up and make the play. Almost got around the corner.
3rd and 8. Another first down. They would be within field goal range. Another blitz coming. Carr almost lost it. Now he's sacked.
Oh, what a
Dexter
great.
Coakley.
I'm telling you what. Dexter Coakley goes over the back Allen and hits Carr and then gets back up and makes the play. I mean, this, you talk about hustle. Look to the right of your screen. Here comes Coakley, 52. Boom. He's knocked down. He knocks the ball out. The ball bounces in Carr's hands. He gets back up and gets the sack. That ain't any good.
Half a dozen sacks. Great second effort by Coakley. And now Rambo will drop back to take the punt from Chad Stanley. Boy, they came after him that time, but he got it out of there, and Rambo will make the fair catch. The 16 fumbled it, but covered up. 34-yard kick, no return. Cowboys stuck back at their own 16-yard line. Play action towards Emmett. Carter then throws to Emmett, trying to get him in some space, and he's out to the 25. Second down, about a half yard. Carter on the option to Emmett. Room to run for Emmitt Smith. To the 47-yard line. First down.
Boy, that little fake of Emmett's back to the right. Just a little jab and then get back to the outside. Just open it up. It was a nice flip by Quincy Carter. Emmett takes just a short jab step, and then, bang, he's back to the outside. Watch, there's nobody out there to get him.
It's the old option play.
13 carries, 55 yards for Emmitt Smith. By far his best run of the night. Emmett again. All right, Hambrick, check it. Another good run off the left side.
Give you an idea, you see what the Cowboys have done against this 3-4 now. They've started to get misdirection. The big guys up front, they should tie up the offensive line and allow the versatility of the linebackers to flow and make plays. It allows you to get linebackers into coverage more quickly, and it gives you one extra person. You don't have to pull a lineman out of the front, and as we saw, it can bring immediate pressure on quarterbacks a little bit easier with 4 to a side.
Now Michael Wiley is the running back, and Wiley will get the toss.
Whoa, look out.
Wiley breaks it. Got away from Stevens. Wiley, touchdown. From 46 yards out, the third tailback on this roster.
Yeah, but he showed you a little bit of speed. I'll tell you something. Matt Stevens had an angle, and he just outran him.
Dallas has found something on the left side of that line.
They've got size. Yeah, it's called Larry Allen and Flozell Adams. That's what they found. Now the speed just takes over. There they go.
Billy Cundiff for the tie. And the Texans' lead is gone. Emmitt Smith trying to fire up the troops as Dallas has come from behind to tie it at 10. Got your game face on for this one.
I think Leroy's a little upset.
Jermaine Lewis from the 5. And cut down as he got to the 19-yard line. Randall Williams. And Houston takes over from its own 19-yard line. The #1 pick in the draft, David Carr, leads them out. Rifles it, knocked away, nearly intercepted, batted down by Kevin Hardy. And the owner of the expansion Houston Texans, Bob McNair, has been nice enough to come up and join us. I know this was such a long process for you, the fight to get this franchise instead of Los Angeles. It cost you an awful lot of money, but tonight must be one of the greatest nights of your life.
Yeah, this is overwhelming, and our guys are playing so well, and you know, it's a great game. Our fans love it. Now, if we can just play without some mental errors, I think we're going to be ready to get back on the scoreboard.
Draw play, and that's the rookie, Jonathan Wells.
You know, the thing that's so amazing to me, where that bull's head is down in the middle of that field, 29 months ago, they dug a little hole where it really started, and they finished this thing 29 months ago. I mean, it started 29 months ago, and it's done.
Well, it's just a fantastic stadium, and everyone that comes in here just sort of their jaw hits the floor when they walk in.
That's
and the players love it. The playing field is great, and it's terrific.
3rd and 7 for the Texans. And movement up front, both sides pointing at the other.
Well, while they moved, let me ask you one question. Why the retractable roof?
Well, we would have had an open-air stadium, but we also share this stadium with the rodeo, and the rodeo has performances at night. and they have to set up for that, and they can't run the risk of having bad weather. So the only solution was to have a retractable roof.
If you had your druthers, would you like it to be open as much as possible? Obviously, with the inclement weather down here over the last couple days, it makes a lot of sense. We're tickled it's dry in here.
3rd and 12 now. Carr goes to the shotgun after the penalty. Big play here for Houston, trying to keep the drive alive, and nearly picked off by Coakley.
There's a flag down there, too.
What do you think about number 8?
Well, David Carr is going to be outstanding, Joe. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's strong physically. He's got the right mental makeup. He's got a terrific arm, and he's picking up the game very quickly, and I think he's going to be outstanding.
Just got one of the breaks you want to get roughing the passer on 3rd and long.
We needed that.
Dave Campbell's not too happy about what's going on.
Of course, it's a tough way for your rookie quarterback to get a first down.
Yeah, he paid the price for it, and I'd rather not see that happen, but he's a tough kid, I'll tell you. He can take it as well as he can dish it out. But if they give him a little time to throw, he'll light up the scoreboard.
Well, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice when you get your 2 big tackles back.
That'll help. Yes. That'll help.
Allen is back in as the running back. Allen hitting the backfield. He's going to lose a couple. Kevin Hardy was there.
Hardy 51 on the stop.
Second and 13. Carr straight back, sidesteps the rush, dumps it off, and Jonathan Wells will take it up near the 35-yard line. Another big play, 3rd and 7. Blitz coming. Pretty good job of picking it up. Incomplete. Nearly picked. Bryant Westbrook got his hands on it.
The one thing that we're impressed with, and the way it should be, is from the time that you got him, he's been on the first unit. He has never taken a snap with the second group. And I think, you know, you have a young team. He is your quarterback, and he's the guy that your franchise is hinging on. You got to play him.
Well, we decided to do that early on, and unless he showed us that he couldn't handle it, and clearly he showed that he could. But he came in, he wanted to get a contract signed. He didn't want to have delays. He came into camp, he had prepared, and I think his effort shows well.
Galloway knocked down at the 20, and it looks like a block in the back on top of it.
Special teams has done well.
Yeah,
they've really stepped it up.
They're doing quite well, and you know, we really haven't seen Jermaine Lewis have the opportunity to break one tonight, and he can certainly do that on the punt returns and kickoff. So I'd like to see that happen before the night's over too.
Bob, the official attendance.
First down, timeout.
69,604, the largest football crowd ever to see a team in Houston. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On the last series, they went exclusively to the left side and ripped the Texans defense. And they'll whistle this one dead.
They're saying illegal motion by Dallas, but I think that Houston was in the neutral zone, and you're not allowed in there.
Looked like Gary Walker jumped, but he may have gotten back.
Oh, there's another flag. He threw a flag at the referee.
Didn't like what he said.
No. All right, take a look on the left-hand side. There it is. It's a neutral zone infraction.
They got the call right. That was the right one.
Exactly. Gary Walker jumped in a neutral zone. They moved. That's his fault. You can't do that.
It's a good break for Dallas. It makes it 1st and 5 deep in their own territory. 2:31 to go, 3rd quarter. The crowd trying to will this defense to stop Dallas.
I think Dallas is just going to keep on running the football.
Hold it. Hold it.
flag is down. They whistled this one dead.
Let's take him back the other way.
It's amazing they can hear the whistles down there.
Prior to the snap, false start. Left tackle, 5-yard penalty. First down, sir.
Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, coaches always want their teams to have an identity, and for Dave Campo and the Cowboys, it's a blue-collar work ethic. So he's had his team punch a time clock, every player, every day. They came up with the concept at the end of last season, and they decided it's kind of a rebuilding theme, a reconstruction theme. They're not the Cowboys of the 70s or the 90s. He said it's just us, and we're a blue-collar team.
Thank you, Susie. Right now, they are in a battle. Carter with a quick strike to Bryant, and he takes it up to the 17. Jerry Jones said of Quincy Carter during the preseason, he has answered the question about whether he can be a winning quarterback. He played his best football since he's been wearing the silver and blue during the preseason, completed almost 2/3 of his passes. Emmett to the 22 for a first down.
One of the things I found interesting talking to Dave Campo last evening was the fact that he said that they have been talking about this particular football game for the last 45 days, ever since they started training camp. They understand the magnitude of this football game and how important it is for him to get a win for his ball club.
And one of the things Joe and I talked about during one of the breaks is this Dallas offensive line, as big as they are, and you know, when you get to the fourth quarter, and I said they're doing a little bit of leaning and you know, on these guys, they're going to wear them down.
Remember, again, it's the first preseason game, and these guys haven't played an entire game yet. So there is a conditioning factor.
And now Dallas has to use a timeout. Quincy Carter talking to Bill Carollo.
We talked to Dom Capers. This is what he was looking for to win this game. Win the turnover battle. So far, it's 1-0. They're winning it. Win the field position battle. They've had Dallas backed up quite a bit all night. Field position has been good for them. And finally, get into the fourth quarter. They wanted to be close, a little bit ahead or tied coming into the fourth quarter. He's basically exactly where he wanted to be, and that's what he told his ball club. Now they're going to have to deliver. He also made a point, Mike and Paul. If we get them into the fourth quarter, whatever pressure there is, it shifts even more on their shoulders because they're not supposed to be tied or behind.
And over the last 3 years on the road, the Cowboys haven't been very good. They're only 4-20.
And all the guys we talked to yesterday in Dallas, every one of those guys said, we expect to win this ball game, but we don't think it's going to be that easy.
And they better make some plays.
Carter short set again. That pass thrown behind Galloway. He made the catch but couldn't keep his feet.
Remember the first half, guys, with David Carr? Chris Palmer called a lot of passes that look exactly like what we're seeing Bruce Coslet do with Quincy Carter. It's like, okay, you want to play it conservative and let your defense make plays, fine. We'll do that till we get out of the shadow of our goalpost and give ourselves a chance to get the ball to number 84. I believe Joey Galloway has got to get his hands on the ball at least 5 more times.
2nd and 7. Time running out third quarter. Carter straight back to throw, this time under pressure. Emmett on a little toss. Runs through one tackle, gets to the 27-yard line. The Texans have already had a successful debut. They have played the Dallas Cowboys off their feet, but Dallas, led by Emmitt Smith, trying to come from behind and steal this one in Houston. They have tied it at 10. The third quarter is history. 3rd and 4. Emmett. He will be short.
I think one other thing on Jerry, though, guys, is I'm sure he felt like Houston would be a lot more hospitable than they have been instead of playing it this tight and this close. Good job by that Houston defense again, shutting down the run. And Jerry Jones was right. It looks like that's where the Cowboys want to go, on the left side.
Jermaine Lewis hoping for a chance to be the game breaker that he was signed to be. Micah Noor to punt it away on 4th and a yard. Lewis wrapped up, got back to the 26, only a 3-yard return. David Carr, when you look at his numbers, they are pretty anemic right now, but he had one dropped that would have given him another 55 yards and another touchdown. Right now, he's got to get a drive going for this club. They've been stalling. Wells gets a couple.
David Carr's pass chart tonight gives you an indication of what they tried to do offensively. He's been pretty good in these areas. Right in here. Up the field, you can see the problems that he's had. They've tried 10 passes down over 15 yards. He's only completed 1. And that's a credit to that Cowboys secondary. Those big guys in the middle. Woodson and Williams.
Second and 9. Pump fake by Carr. Now under pressure. Gets away initially and then buried back at the 15-yard line. There is a flag down in the secondary. Ebenezer Ekubon got the sack after Demetric Evans applied the pressure, but the penalty will go against Dallas. It looked like Bryant Westbrook.
On Corey Bradford, number 85.
What a break for Houston.
Number 30, defense. 5 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I talked to Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. We were visiting this afternoon, and I said, Mike, tell me about Bryant Westbrook coming to the ball club. He said, I have one concern, really. He said, I don't want him to get the interference calls. And there he is. He runs up and bumps Bradford outside the 5-yard area, winds up with a call. We saw him earlier in the ball game get an interference call.
And they took him out of the ball game, and Hawthorne is in.
So instead of the sack and a long distance situation, they get the penalty and have it across the 30, and Wells gets it up to the 34. Roy Williams, the big rookie, 6 feet 235. He said he's down to about 227. It was interesting talking to him. He is a very pleasant young man. There was an article that we read coming down here that said he had a publicist and a tailor come with him to training camp, and he sounded like one of the great hot dogs of all time. It turns out that was bogus, and he is a nice kid and a tremendous player.
He's still got some great threads, though.
Doesn't he, though? He doesn't. Second and 7 for the Texans. Carr. Bradford! Touchdown! A 65-yard strike to Corey Bradford. Darren Woodson was back there, so was DeJuan Hawthorne.
This comes off of play action again. The fake up inside to Wells. He pumps. Now watch the play. Woodson is right there, but Bradford goes up and gets it. Actually, Darren Woodson overran the ball, but Corey Bradford stayed with it and made the play.
Dallas's defense gave up only 4 pass plays of 40 yards or more last year, the fewest in the NFL. That was 65.
Michael, which was the expansion team? Dallas has 9 penalties for 117 yards. The only turnover, and have never led in this ball game.
It's amazing. And a lot of people will critique David Carr. When they get to his arm, there's no doubt he has a gun. And now the Texans are pumped. And they're saying the ball came loose. No signal from the official.
There's enough Houston arms pointing in a different direction. Wait a second.
They're going to talk this one over.
There's a man who's totally stunned. And there's another one who can't believe what he's seeing.
Texans ball.
I think what Dave Campo's doing right now is finding out whether he's going to challenge. Let's take a look at it.
That's Rambo.
There's Rambo. There's the hit. Now, is he on the ground? Does the ball come out? I think the ball's out before he ever hits the ground. His knee never gets there. Look at that.
Well, that one you really can't see, but the other one shows that Rambo's left leg was definitely not down. Was his right leg down?
Question is his right knee on the ground? And I think this will be the best shot that we have to look at it. Does he have possession of the ball?
I'll tell you right there, his knee is down.
But the ball is coming out. It has to be irrefutable evidence to turn it over. I think it's a good challenge by the Cowboys. I'm not sure whether they're going to win it or not. There's his knee, okay? That's what you're looking at. Is his knee down when the ball comes out? You can just see it. Just off of Miller's left leg, you can see the ball start to come down and be loose.
Well, the critical part is I don't think you can see enough on this to overturn it.
That's exactly right. That's if that play was called on the field, there is nothing that's going to overturn this call.
Bill Carollo, a veteran official. Kris Carter, a backup safety, was the guy who knocked it loose. And Billy Miller, this would be his second huge play of this game. He was credited with the recovery. Miller caught the initial touchdown pass of this game and of the franchise's history.
In either way it goes, what the reviewing has done is it's taken a lot of steam out of this game. It's taken the energy away, I think, from the Texans just a little bit.
This may put it right back.
It could go again.
Excuse me.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined there is not sufficient evidence to overrule the ruling on the field. The play stands as called.
Good call.
Fumble recovered by Houston. First down.
That's an excellent choice.
It's really the only choice they have, isn't it?
It is. It is the only choice because there's nothing that's going to say that we should overturn it.
Here's the thing. Does Chris Palmer now want to come out and drive the nail in, or is he just going to come out and run the football and bleed the clock? With David Carr, the way he's throwing the football, I'd run a little play action and see if I can put some more on the board. And then run the clock if I had to on second and third down.
Well, the other critical part is you don't want to do something that would take you out of field goal range. You could go up by 2 scores from right here.
Yeah, this is taking some of the steam out of these people.
Not anymore. Allen. Nowhere to go, gets about a yard. Dat win by the tackle. When Dave Campo's club has had a negative turnover differential, they have not won. 0-18. They are -2 in that category tonight.
The last 2 years as a head coach, that's what's happened to him. And Emmett, this is looking an awful lot like last year when they struggled offensively for him.
Too much. And Rambo right now hoping to get back on the field and make up for that fumble. Carr on a little roll. Keeps it. Carr lowers the shoulder and dives inside the 10. And you better believe Dom Capers' heart went right up in his throat when he saw his quarterback dive head first.
But you know what I really like? I like the way he handles himself. In the first part of the game, he ran out of bounds to protect himself. Now look, he makes the decision to go. You've got to be decisive at this position. He doesn't see anything. Now he's a runner. And now he feels where the presence of somebody is. Now get to the ground. Here they come trying to deliver the blow on you. Dat Win tries to get to him. He can't.
Kid's a gamer, isn't he?
Oh, boy. He's fun to watch. The entire team's fun to watch.
What a future he has. Allen, the deep man in the eye. And now the Texans will have to use a timeout. 10:40 left in the game. Dallas, by the way, has only 1 left, and they're going to have to make a comeback. Now, there seems to be a question whether there was a delay or David Carr got the timeout first.
Well, Billy Miller was split out wide to the left, and he saw the clock running down. He called timeout with the linesman, and the question's going to be, Did he get it quick enough? I think he called timeout in time.
Well, take a look at him. He was under center, and then he starts running to his right. So obviously he must have called timeout, because David Carr leaves.
Delay of game occurred before the timeout was called. Okay. Delay of game offense.
David Carr was underneath center. He saw that the clock was running down, but it already had run down, and he never got it out because he just ended up leaving the center.
I think it was going to be a direct snap to James Allen.
May have been. That looked like a funny formation.
Watch this. Here it is. Here's David Carr, number 8. Now watch what happened.
There he is.
Here he goes.
Yeah, this is going to be a direct snap to James Allen.
That's exactly right.
He just has to. If you got a trick play, you've got to get up and get him off, because you don't get too many chances. Coaches don't do that very often.
And you got to sell it a little better than that too. First and goal from the 14. Allen, nice cutback, gets to the 11. Leroy Glover made the tackle. David Carr not putting up the kind of numbers, of course, he did at Fresno State, but he is putting up some critical numbers like the 2 touchdowns, 1 in each half, 3 out of 5 in this half for 91. Total of 139 for the game. He had another 55-yarder that would have been a touchdown.
You see those zeros on the right side? Interceptions, none.
And he's thrown only 1 bad ball, really. Allen, and the Cowboys just came firing in.
Sometimes good things happen to you when you're a quarterback. You know, obviously Jermaine Lewis put one on the ground, but this is the last touchdown. There's Woodson. He's up around the line of scrimmage trying to disguise the defense. Corey Bradford is split out outside. Woodson runs back to get into 2 deep coverage, and Bradford just gets up the field. And what happens to Darren Woodson, he winds up overrunning the throw. He loses sight of it, overruns it. Bradford makes the play, and now Houston's on top by 7.
3rd and goal, you would expect if they throw, it would be a very careful throw here. And it's intercepted. They tried to throw the little middle screen to be careful, but it's batted up in the air by Leroy Glover, or by Ellis, and then Glover got it. A sack and a half and an interception for Glover. Last play certainly could have been a critical turning point in this game. The Texans set up for an easy chip shot field goal, even if they don't get the touchdown, would have extended their lead to 10.
Well, you're running a middle screen to Allen. Look at this, and Ellis comes right up the middle, and he gets the ball, hits him right in the head and into Glover's hands. The thing about it is, if you're going to run a middle screen with the defensive lineman, you either got to block them out to the outside or cut them at the line of scrimmage where they can't get their hands up.
Dallas has had lousy starting position all night long. Carter under pressure, throws. Hambrick tried to take it off his shoe tops and couldn't hold it.
This is where that Texan defense is going to have to step up and make some plays. They're going to have to continue to bring pressure on Quincy Carter. I really believe that they should run play action with Quincy, get him on the move a little bit, and try and figure out a way to get the ball to Joey Galloway.
Carter is only 13 of 26, 131 yards.
Well, they better get to the line of scrimmage because they're already inside 10 seconds.
5 on the play clock. Play action by Carter under pressure again. Throws on the run and wide of Antonio Bryant. Excellent coverage downfield, and again pressure from the Texans.
This is exactly the down and distance that Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator of the Texans, wants to get Quincy Carter in. Now you bring in your secondary people. Now you bring in your linebackers. You think that this pressure was something? Watch on this down when they drop back to pass. You're going to see safeties coming. You're going to see linebackers coming. I think Vic's going to go after him.
And he had Emmett wide open underneath. There wasn't a soul around Emmitt Smith.
Sometimes it's hard to find guys when you run for your life.
I imagine. 3rd and 10. Carter with good protection this time and throws wide of Bryant. Had him open and missed him.
The one thing that everybody talked about with Quincy Carter, they know he's a great athlete, but how accurate is he? Not very. Throws it right to the head coach, and he's not going to catch it.
When it's closer to Dave Campo than it is Antonio Bryant, it's not a good thing.
I think that's a bad throw, huh?
I do. And a big defensive stand for the Texans after that huge turnover. Short kick. Lewis comes up on the run. No fair catch. That's a heck of a play by Jermaine Lewis. He saved a possible large bounce. Held it to 32 yards. Brought it back 6. Tony Dixon made the tackle. The Texans still in position to pull a stunner with 8:48 to go. The first game in the history of the franchise. The one team on the face of the earth they would like to beat the most, and they lead them by 7. Wells, the running back, and the rookie dragged down by Leroy Glover, who is showing you why they signed him as a free agent. He is a sensational player.
You know, one of the knocks on Leroy Glover is that he could not play the run. When you said that to him yesterday.
Tell Jonathan Wells.
Yeah, I thought he was going to smack you in the mouth when you said it yesterday.
I didn't say that to him.
Somebody did in our room.
I'm brighter than that.
Somebody in our room said it.
One of the things that Mike Zimmer pointed out, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, said we needed guys who could win one-on-one battles. Leroy Glover can win them.
Draw play, Wells. Glover's in on that stop. How about this for a line for Leroy Glover?
It looks like the Texans have decided to not take any chances, bleed the clock, put the faith in your defense to be able to go out and stop. And really, when you've seen the job that Quincy Carter and this offense has done, you just don't think that they're going to light it up.
Pretty good strategy.
And never run a middle screen again.
4-man rush. Dumps it off to Allen. Allen gets it out to the 48-yard line. It'll be 4th and 7. They'll have to punt it away. The clock continues to run.
They're going to wind up under 7 minutes when they kick it away. What's going to happen is on this series, the Cowboys have an opportunity to establish some type of a running game to be able to open it up a little bit. But if they have to wait for another possession, they'll have no chance to run.
Ken-Yon Rambo, whose fumble ultimately did no damage, waits at his 16. And they'll whistle this play dead.
I think this one's on the center. The center picked the ball up and it set it down.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 98, offense. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
98 is Jeff Posey.
But, you know, I was watching the center. He was moving the ball, then he picked the ball up, then he put it back down on the ground.
Sean McDermott wants to get it right.
Well,
of course, you ought to tell Jeff Posey that.
The other thing I would have done is just let the clock run down, all the way down, and take the penalty anyway. You're at the 45-yard line. What difference does it make? You're punting the ball away. Take as many seconds off as you possibly can. Here we go again. Don't snap it yet.
Beautiful kick. Rambo hitting his tracks, taken down at the 12. Sensational play by Jason Bell. Dallas needs a touchdown to tie. They start from their own 13. Carter to Emmett on the toss. Let's go to Susie.
Mike, Dom Capers' defense has played beyond expectations tonight. We talked to him about what it was like sitting out for a season, and he said you realize just how much you miss game day. Nothing can compare to that feeling. You get a different perspective when you're second-guessing, when you're sitting on the sideline, as opposed to making those spur-of-the-moment decisions. But I don't think he could ever have imagined that he would be having this much fun tonight.
Well, he's got to be having a ball. 2nd and 7. Emmett on the draw. Swallowed up at the 17. The series before this, they came out and threw the ball. The one before that was the one where they ran to the left side repeatedly and were so successful.
Well, I think they decided that they wanted to come out and try and pound the ball again. This time they go up the middle. But give a lot of credit. What it is, you see the linebacker Phil, Jamie Sharper fills, and then he bounces off of Larry Allen, winds up making the play. It's difficult for a 350-pounder to stay with a 250-pound or 240-pound linebacker.
67 yards on 17 carries for Emmett. He comes out on 3rd and 6. Carter incomplete. Bryant wants a flag. He won't get one. And once again, Aaron Glenn was right there. He's had a great game.
Well, and again, if you're going to throw at someone, don't throw at him. Aaron Glenn's an all-pro corner.
Well,
and playing against a rookie.
But give Houston a lot of credit. They're going to make Quincy Carter go to the one-on-one coverage. You take Joey Galloway out of it, and you put Aaron Glenn one-on-one with the rookie.
The 6th time tonight, Dallas has gone 3 and out. Now it's very critical. 5:18 to go in the game. They have to punt it away. And the Texans should have great field position again. Lewis runs up on this kick at the 45 and takes it back to the 49. James Allen is the tailback. Dallas has shut down the run pretty well.
Very well.
Dexter Coakley leads the charge there.
You know, we were talking about the special teams and defense for an expansion team and how well they are. That was the 14th drive that Dallas when they had the ball, Joe, and 9 of those drives started inside their own 25. So that tells you how good the defense was and how excellent the special teams played.
Dom Capers' game plan was field position. Play the field position game. That's exactly what they did. Let's get into the 4th quarter. That's exactly what they did. Let's win the turnover battle. Exactly what they did.
The clock burning its way toward 4 minutes. Only one wide receiver. Allen lowers his shoulder. Stuffed by Roy Williams, the huge safety. He brings a lick, doesn't he?
Well, you know, he's 6 foot. He's 230 pounds. And I tell you what, there's nothing he said I really had to learn this game. He said, Woodson tells me where to line up, where to go. And then you watch this guy stick. He's number 31. He's going to fill in the hole like a linebacker. Bam! And that's Allen, the running back, going back the other way.
Well, it's pretty easy for him to fill at this stage because there's really no mystery what the Texans, I think, are going to do. I think you run the ball again. Just keep bleeding the clock, punt it down and back.
Williams' dad was a big Cowboy fan. Draw. Allen gets to the Dallas 48. Some of the fans aren't going to like this, but this has got smart written all over it.
Well, after that screen interception debacle,
I don't think we'll see that one again, do you?
Well, they've taken the game basically out of this young man's hands.
And they put it in the hands of Joe Marciano's special teams
and defense.
And Vic Fangio's defense.
That's right. Because Quincy Carter hadn't done anything.
I got one thing about Quincy Carter. Yeah, he struggled a little bit, but you've got to give a lot of credit to that Texan defense. They have not given him a whole lot of places to be able to throw the football.
Yeah, here you see they're going to take the penalty. They should have done it the last time they punted the ball. They'd had another 20 seconds off that clock.
2:56 left in the game. And when Dallas gets the ball back and only one timeout, this drive is it. If they give it up, they'll never see it again.
5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So it's going to be 4-down territory from wherever they get it.
A couple things have to happen for them. I think they have to spread the field and try and spread that defense out as much as they can and be able to let Quincy Carter move around a little bit to try and make a play. They don't need to get big chunks, but they've got to get completions.
Now, do you come after the punter, Chad Stanley? Dallas looks like they will. Got the pressure, but didn't get there. And Stanley, another great kick. They let it go, and down and inside the 5. And another big special teams play from Jason Bell.
Coaches so often sit and they tell their teams, this is what we have to do to win. You'd like to think it happens a lot, but there are a lot of guys that can make big plays. You look at this particular Sunday, and, you know, Butch Davis is sitting there probably telling his Cleveland team, this is what we need to do to win. And they wind up on the short end of probably the most bizarre play and plays that I've seen in a football game in my entire career.
I don't think telling Dwayne Rudd to take off his helmet and throw it during the play was part of that speech.
How does a holder get a taunting penalty?
Now Dallas has to go 96 yards to tie. Incomplete. That was almost picked off. Bryant repeatedly has had Aaron Glenn cut inside of him and run the pattern really better than he does.
And there's a penalty on the top side, and it's against Dallas. All right, here's Aaron Glenn again. Aaron Glenn, if he could have caught the balls in his hands, he'd had 5 interceptions
He just set
tonight.
a National Football League record for interceptions.
I mean, I know they're doubling Joey Gallo, but
Two-man
don't go
moving,
there.
not all 11 resetting for a second. That penalty is declined.
Carter under pressure.
Safety.
They got him. It's a safety.
That ought to do it.
Seth Payne and Gary Walker. Hats off to that defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, and Joe hit it on the head. What you really liked about him is that you know what? How many times did we see a team that played for 50-some minutes and then stop doing it and go into some kind of prevent? This team, all they did was keep coming after him. They never stopped doing what they did to get themselves ahead. Look at the pressure that these guys put on this quarterback. He had no chance.
Seth Payne had 5 sacks. Even though this team doesn't have a history, you get pressure from Gary Walker. Seth Payne had 5 sacks. Jamie Sharper had 6. Gary Walker had 7.5. I mean, as a defensive unit, they've got close to 24, 25 sacks, which matches what the Cowboys did a year ago. So they may be just put together, but they bring an awful lot of experience and talent and have put it together.
You've got to hand it to Charlie Casserly, the general manager. When you build a team from scratch, it is totally your imprint on it. The players you select are going to define your future for a long time. And right now, the future looks pretty good, and Bob McNair couldn't be more happy.
Have you ever seen an onside kick on a free kick?
No, and I don't think I will tonight.
Well, you're down by 9. You need a touchdown and a field goal.
But if you try an onside kick, it's just going to go past the 30, and you've got 4 Texans standing on the 35.
But what other choice would you have?
You
You're
only
down
have
by
one
2
timeout
scores
and
and you
2
have 1
minutes.
timeout.
And 2 minutes.
Kick it away and try and strip it. Sometimes you reach a point in a football game where miracles have to happen for you to win. All you need to do is talk to Kansas City about that. I don't think 2 will happen on a Sunday.
Jermaine Lewis to the 40.
And a flag
is down.
Wow.
Are the Cowboys stunned? You bet they are.
I'll tell you one thing, this young man, Emmitt Smith, when I say young man, he isn't thinking about yardage. He's thinking about winning.
Well, I think that Quincy Carter has a long way to grow, and they're going to have to be able to run the football effectively for this offense to be successful and give him a chance not to have the load and wins and losses on his shoulders. He's not there yet. He's not there in the system. And this is much too good and big an offensive line not to be able to run the football. That, I think, was the key tonight for Dom Capers' defense. They shut down Dallas's running game.
Last year, Dallas was number 3 in the league in rushing, 31st and last in passing. With 112 passing yards tonight, they may be 32nd in the league after week 1. One expansion team has won its opening game, the 1961 Minnesota Vikings. The Texans are 232 away from becoming the second. The veteran Allen just hanging on to the ball. Dom Capers already has the best expansion record in NFL history with the Carolina Panthers.
Dallas just took their final timeout.
They'll get another one when the 2-minute warning comes up in 24 seconds.
3 starters missing on the offensive line. Those guys, no matter what the numbers say, deserve a tremendous amount of credit. With the guys they had on the field, you might assume that they were going to be sacked 12 times, never be able to protect them at all. Several times he had plenty of time to throw and show what a great arm he has. 3rd down, Dallas can't stop the clock anymore. 3rd and 5. The Cowboys, one last gasp. They have to hold here. Allen. It's over. And what a smart play. Don't go out of bounds. Lay down. You've got the first down. You win.
Good night.
What a night for a group of guys and a coach that nobody really gave any chance of winning a football game. The Cowboys had a lot to play for. They're not the team they were in the past, but they felt like they were on the right track to become a better football team. Now the Cowboys have to take a long, hard look at who they are and what they want to try and do this season.
And who they're going to play. Congratulations to Dom Capers and his staff, to Charlie Casserly, to Bob McNair. And the fans of Houston truly have something to cheer about for the first time since 1996.
I think this is the first time Dom Capers has taken a breath in 2 years.
And tomorrow he'll start getting ready for next week.
Yeah, you don't enjoy this moment very long, but boy, it's a great moment to have.
They will tonight, pal. I can assure you of that.
An incredible win for the Texans, a staggering loss for the Dallas Cowboys.
David Carr gave the ball to the official. He says, "No, can I have that back, please?"
What a game. I mean,
what a night for Houston, guys.
It really was. It was a great game to watch and do.
The final score. The Texans win their opener 19-10 over Dallas.